So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be walking you through a social media platform which is very new, very up and coming, and uses some pretty interesting open source technology, Blab.im. So one of the big problems in the open source world is that live streaming is kind of difficult to do without having to use Adobe Flash. Now there are ways that we're getting around this, and HTML5 streaming is pretty much the course of action that like Google Hangouts is taking, that Twitch want to take, that Mac have encouraged developers to take, because of course Apple have quite historically been against the use of Flash technology in favor of more open platforms, or at least better platforms. I don't think I can think of a live streaming platform off the top of my head that actually will work off the bat in a completely open source browser like Firefox. And I did fire up Firefox, turned off Flash, and it worked really well. So it's a very accessible browser. It also, as we understand it, works in browsers on mobile platforms. So whereas I think there's only an iOS app of it now, and I think there is an Android one in the works, but it still works in your phone's browser regardless of what phone you're using, simply because the technology is quite universal and quite is HTML5 compliant, pretty much. So, Matt, do you want to explain some of the sort of ins and outs of it? Because you're a much bigger fan of it than I am.
Yeah, so we can only have...
Oh, hang on a minute. I haven't introduced you.
Okay.
How rude of me. So this is Matt Polka. He has a channel here on YouTube. Of course, I'll link to it down in the description below. But tech isn't your day job. You're more of a motivational speaker, I guess. And you've appeared on this channel before, and you're often on live streams with me. I think that's about an introduction, isn't it? Is there anything you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I do book reviews, and I'm kind of big on self-leadership and self-improvement. So that's kind of my forte. But I like social media. So I've Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook and Blab, which is really recent. But what's really neat about Blab is I like to tell people that it's sort of like a live streaming version of Skype combined to Twitter, because a lot of people are using Twitter to collect everybody via hashtag to specific kinds of Blabs and events. But it is kind of like taking all those and meshing them together, because you have people on the right-hand side that can comment and use the @ symbol for their usernames. And when you log in, as you saw, you connect your Twitter account to Blab when you sign up, and you get your little bio in there as well. But only 4 people can be in a room at a time, but you can ask questions. They've started adding features such as messaging people in the comments, and then they have a little backspace there, which is new, and you can do, like, you can modify the chat and stuff in light and dark mode. I've seen people using it a lot for live shows and radio shows, interview shows. I know some TV shows have done stuff on here, and even had a big entrepreneur event for 168 hours on this.
Wow.
So it's a it's basically the live stream version of Skype. It's very interactive.
I mean, I'd say it's better than Skype for a number of ways. One is that it works on more platforms. The dynamic of only having 4 people, I think, is particularly interesting, because at first I was like dead against it. That was like a red line for me initially. And then you got me on it, and we started talking, and we had 4 people on, and we were chatting with people in the comments. And I felt that the dynamics of that particular conversation were a lot better, because you don't, like, when you have more than 4 people, it becomes so easy, especially with things like latency and whatever, to talk over each other, when it's actually a lot more productive to have a small number of people and an engaged comment section. So there on the right hand side, you can see where effectively at the moment it's where we logged in, because this isn't a particularly public live stream as of yet. We're just sort of demonstrating the platform at the moment, and we'll probably crack on after we record this video and have some fun with it.
Yeah, the other cool thing you said too is the audio. When you can speak over people, and the latency, you said, doesn't cut back. And the other thing too is you can tweet out the live stream, you can tweet out your friends, you can ask questions for the live stream. And when you record shows in here, you can start recording and then pause and then continue recording, and it will still stitch all of your footage together at the end in a final video file. It'll also give you a link to an MP3 of I think it's a waiver MP3 of the actual live stream. It's 6 hours total time, I think, per Blab, so you can go up to 6 hours. And it has an emd link, so if you want to, like, put it on your website when you're live streaming, people can go right to your site and see the Blab happening when they're right on your site. It's got an emd link, so
that's good. That's a good feature.
And they're always innovating. They're always innovating stuff. You can make people co-hosts in Blabs. I think the reason they did that was because they wanted somebody to be monitoring the comments. if there are a lot of people,
Yes.
and then somebody to be able to monitor the people in the stream. But yeah, you can delete comments, and you can kick people out. You can lock seats inside the Blab so people can't join if you only want specific people inside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool features in this. They're always updating it.
Here we've got like an open seat, but you as the moderator for this particular conversation could then close that off and stop new people joining, so that it works as really well as like a phone-in platform. So if we were taking calls or whatever, come on in, enjoy the show.
And I can click on your name, and it gives you your profile and how many followers you have and how many people are following you. And then you can hit there's this little gray H on the left with a plus above the H, and you can hit it, and you can make somebody a co-host.
Oh yeah.
And that will allow them to monitor the chat and edit the title of somebody speaking. You can edit the title anytime to make sure you keep the Blab on topic or just what you're talking about, so people that come in have an idea what the Blab is about.
Yeah.
And you can have more than one co-host. Everybody in the Blab can be a co-host. And co-host, if I leave this Blab, I can immediately hop back into the Blab. I don't need your permission to join. So if I leave, I can click and hop right in the seat and join because I'm a host. I don't have to get your permission.
What if all the seats are full and a second host leaves for, I don't know, connectivity reasons, or they go away for a bit? Can they kick someone out to get back in, or are they stuck out at that point and there's only one moderator?
I think that the only issue is you have to have somebody more than one person as a host, because I think if the host leaves the stream, I don't think people can get in. I'm not sure. I actually haven't tried it. We can try it right now. I don't know if. Well, we can try it. We can try it later. But I think they may have put some sort of precaution in there to make sure that the live streams don't go on, because people have left. I've even heard with Periscope and stuff, people have left Blabs, and then the Blab keeps going on if they never end it. So I think everybody might have to leave the Blab, and then the host will leave last to stop it, or the host can probably leave and everybody will get kicked out. I haven't necessarily messed with that yet, but that probably happens.
With there is one thing that I find particularly interesting about it. It kind of makes sense, but it is something that I think needs to be said, is the recording functionality doesn't give you the ability to actually delete the videos. Is that right?
Yes, it doesn't give you the ability to delete, but it does give you the ability to hide the videos from other people, so they can't see the video, but you can still see and unhide it. So technically, it's very similar to privating something. If somebody were to get a hold of your account though and log in as you, they can unhide you and access the video.
Yes, so. Of course, the issue there, of course, is that Blab actually have the video, and you don't know obviously what's going to happen with Blab as a company. I mean, it is only a month-old startup, but you don't actually record anything until you click the actual start record button there on that folks at home can see on the left. So that is one criticism I've got of the platform, is that you can't delete videos. Now, I understand that when you're live streaming, you are in a public forum. Other people are free to record what it is that you're saying, but I just feel that there is that somewhat lack of control. However, it also does have the added benefit of staying up there, so that if people take words and things that you say out of context, there is always the full context there available if you want to.
Yeah, and you can download the video. So I guess they have the video, but if you wanted to keep a copy of it, right, you just download the video at the end, and it uploads right to YouTube. I forgot to mention that. When you finish, you can upload straight to YouTube channel.
Wow, so
there's a link for that.
Wow, considering that this is actually a very new piece of software. I mean, Blab is, as a website, is like 1 or 2 months old. So this is really quite new stuff, and they've got a lot of features on it for such a new platform. I don't think we've had any bugs in it, despite the fact that they're calling it beta, so that they clearly know what they're doing. On some level,
they do.
It has
they're using it. They're really exploiting it in a good way. Like, a lot of people are using this. There's probably a few thousand people on here. I'm not sure how fast it's growing. We checked that before.
One thing I really do like about this, that other live streaming platforms have really failed to get down, is actually not necessarily all live streaming platforms have, but is the discoverability of Blabs. I find that whenever we do a Blab, there's no shortage of people that come in and join in and speak with us, and even sometimes join us on the live stream. So, you'll find with things like the live streaming system that Google has and that YouTube has, it's a very, like, it wants to be the next Twitch, but it's
it's kind of fragmented.
How do you find you can't find live streams on YouTube, but they're on the front page of Blab. So I think,
and I don't know how many, like, I was gonna say, how many Blabs are going on at one time? Like, if you go to the I mean, I'm not sure if it shows all of them, but if you go to like the main Blab page, though, there are only ever like 25 to 30 going on at a time. Well, right now they're doing it by rows of 3 now instead of rows of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16 times 3, which is whatever. That's a good amount of Blabs. 68. So there are 68 or 48. 16 times 3.
Oh, whoops. No, yeah, you're right. No, 16 times 3. Two is 32. The other one is 48. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, so there are 48 Blabs going on right now. And I mean, that's a lot less than the amount of YouTube videos on YouTube that people are watching, and the audience is bigger there.
Yeah.
But you're right, YouTube doesn't really have I don't know if they have a specific way of searching just for live streams. Unless it's the gaming.
I don't think so. Like, so when I've done gaming live streams on YouTube and not informed subscribers and things like that, but let it go out sort of organically and naturally, I never get very much in the way of interest. On Twitch, I do. Not an amazing amount, and it depends very much on the game. Like, if I play a Bethesda game, guaranteed that like 5 people will show up to join in. But if I play like obviously something more obscure, like Science Girls or Long Live the Queen, you know, you're going to be playing by yourself. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. This is
cool.
Been pretty good, pretty informative. I think we covered most of the bases. There are a lot of little things like the ability to give props by clicking on
and follow people. You can
follow people.
It goes by a follow system. So if you want notifications too, it'll show when people are live and when people schedule Blab. So they'll send you an email when somebody schedules a Blab, and you can mark it and save it.
Yeah. So I think that's about it from us today. Thanks for the applause there. Thank you, Matt, for joining me. And
welcome.
Don't forget to check out his channel. The link, of course, will be in the description. And until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.